Are we gonna go live? Can we go live? Are we can is there any audio? Can you hear us? Testing. Testing. 1, 2, 3. I don't think they can hear you. They can hear me though. Testes. Testes. 1, 2. Testes. Yeah, I can hear me. Mhm.
All
Technical
right.
difficulties.
Yay. Pip Pip funny. Hey, having
Oh,
problems
I
this
can hear you
morning.
now. I am
I'm having problems
hilarious.
every Sunday morning.
Mhm.
It's Satan. Satan. It's
It's
Satan.
yes.
It's
I was
Satan.
about to say that. Oh my god, it's so
It's
Satan.
Satan. Satan trying
Satan.
to Satan. Not today,
Wait, but
Satan. Call me tomorrow.
didn't
Text
you just
me.
block him in the spam filter? Text
not to not today,
Satan's gonna
Satan.
slide. Satan's gonna slide in your
Slide
DMs.
into my DMs. Hello and welcome to Waking Up with Nana and PepPep. I
All
am
right.
Arooks from the internet, also known as Nana. And then with me is my wonderful co-host and best
Aw.
friend in the entire world,
Aw.
Sean, also
Co-host in
known
crime.
as PepPep, or the producer, whichever you prefer, depending on what show you see him on. So
I go by many names.
we do go by many names. Have you noticed that like we have the most names? You and I
We
both have like the
do.
most names out of the BS man. Like everybody's like
Mhm.
Jay or Tainted or Nev or but no nope
Yeah.
nope.
We got a
You
bunch.
and
We
I
got a
have like a
list.
plethora.
We have lots of hats.
We do, we do. Hello,
Mhm.
welcome to Waking Up with Nana and PepPep, and where we, Sean and I, express, we sort of tell our story about being ex-Southern Baptists, how we grew up, and our deconstruction of our religion and our faith, and reconstructing our belief system, and just who we are as people, and really working through our traumas. So now for our lovely disclaimer, because that's what we
Mhm.
do. We are not licensed professionals. We are not licensed therapists. If you need a licensed therapist or you feel like you're at a place where you really need help, please contact us. I'm on all the social medias at NerdMomAce, except for Twitter, where it's at NerdMomAce1. And find us, message us. We can get you help. We have a charity that we really work with Mental Health America and try to get people the help they need. We are not those people. We are two people who are still struggling with who we are as people and getting the help and finding on our healing journey itself. So yeah, um, we are not anti-faith. We actually think faith and religion are beautiful things when done in a healthy and a mental and emotional manner. We think all faith is beautiful, all religions are beautiful when they are not used as a controlling, manipulating tactic.
Mhm.
Please feel free to share and like this podcast. And
Mhm.
yeah, bring your friends. Bring your friends. Like, bring your
Coffee and
traumatized friends. Coffee
coffee
and
and trauma is
trauma.
always better with friends. Always.
It is. I am actually
Mm.
finding there are a lot of people like us, Sean. Like I'm like looking on TikTok
Yes.
and social media. There's a lot of people our age who are leaving the church because we grew up in that
Mhm.
church faith. One time getting booked
Yep.
into guessing, and I asked if I can go by any other names. I did my best run. Well, they call me Tater Salad.
Tater salad. Oh my god. Yes. Ron
Bates, I
tater
love you.
salad. Oh my god. Haven't
um, but I'm
so
finding
there
that
are a
a
lot of
lot of
people.
people
Mhm.
our age because our the 80s, like the 80s, the 90s, those 2 decades where we grew up, a
Mhm.
lot of people were very active in the church. I think that was a
Yes.
lot of our parents reacting to like the 60s and 70s where their youth where they were doing all sorts of
Mhm.
drugs and wild and crazy, and then they just like,
Yep.
no, I'm not going, no, we're going to repent of all those years, and so they forced us into that. So I'm finding
Oh
a
yeah.
lot of people actually have very similar stories. See, Bates,
Cops
you
in
don't go
TSA, don't do that.
don't
That is, yeah, especially TSA, they do not have a sense of humor. Mm-mm.
they don't have it. I don't
Nope.
know. I don't know. I've actually seen some really funny TSA people and some nice TSA people, but they're
You're lucky because I have not.
yeah. Well. Oh, okay. Well, Sean
Oh, we can
actually,
make that happen.
did you just
Yeah.
mail yours? You mailed those back to me, didn't you?
I mailed a bunch of them back to you, but I did not mail all of them back to you. I still have
So
some.
Sean has some. So if you need it,
Yeah.
Sean has actually he has t-shirts left over from
Mhm.
con and he has my cards, our cards and stuff.
Stickers and the cards.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I'll get them to you.
today, what are we talking about? Today we are talking
Oh,
about what are we talking
worship
about? I'll
me.
let
We're talking about worshiping me. That's the topic for
you're
today
a white
is
male.
you
Of course everyone worships you. Like what that's of course what you were
absolutely.
raised to believe.
I mean, have you seen this? So I didn't mean to call you out like that. So yeah. Mhm.
No comment. No, you know what?
None. None.
I'm not gonna give you hell on
It's
our podcast. No. No, this
no.
is not
It
Done
is.
Daring
It takes a
101.
lot to make you speechless. I'm just saying.
No. It's like, have you seen this? Yeah. Yeah, I
Uh
have.
huh.
I
I
also
mean,
seen
it
your
was like 20
ex-wife.
years ago.
You don't invite good people into your temple. Don't start with me. I've seen the things on your like, that you have I have seen the things you've brought into your temple. I'm good. I'm good. I'm just gonna sit on the
So
steps and watch from the
today,
outside.
oh my god. See, just when I think I might have a leg up here, Arugs comes in and just knocks it out from under me. Just
That's what I do.
it's
That's what
what
I
she
do.
does. We've known each other for way too long. That's the problem.
That is
It's
the
been
problem.
we know way too known each other way too long and we know way too much about each other.
Mhm. That's why we're best
Hmm.
friends. Is because if we
Absolutely.
were enemies, we would.
Whew.
It's like me and Bonnie.
No,
That's why Bonnie
scorched
and I are
earth,
besties because we know
right?
too much.
Too much. Yes.
Okay, so
Hmm.
today we're talking our bodies
All
are a
right.
temple, and we are
Yes.
talking things like body modification, such as
Hmm.
piercings, gauges, tattoos,
Yes.
hair dyes,
Appearances. Yep.
appearances, clothing, just all of the things. Because this one actually,
Hmm.
for both Sean and I, are really big traumas. Like they are big factors.
Yes.
Um,
And it's still
and
affecting us as you have found out. Hmm.
yay that really did and you don't know how deeply they affect you until you're older, and
Right.
so yeah, can't kill them
Until
so
you
they
start.
be besties now. Yeah, you right. That's
That's it. Yeah.
that's
Hmm.
100%. So, yeah, so we were told our body is our temple and we had to keep it clean. Now, that a lot of people like associate that with a purity culture, which is true. Keep
Hmm.
everything clean for God and
Yes.
pure and
Yes.
blah blah blah.
That is one of the big factors. It's yeah, it's how you modify your body, how you look, and then what your behaviors are. Those all factor into the whole your body's a temple, keep it clean, keep it whatever. What they really mean is don't do you need to do these things and not do these things. It really has nothing to do with pure and holy and whatever because that's all their perspective. It's all about their how they view it should be. And so they're just forcing this idea on you.
So,
Yes.
when an organization forces you to look and dress a certain way to
Uh-huh.
fit into that organization, wait, what is that called?
And
What is that
and
called?
forcing
What is that
it
called?
begins with a C and ends with a T. It begins with a
Oh.
C, it's four letters, ends with a T. It's
Oh,
not
that's
that word,
right.
it's the other
Cunt.
word.
Oh, wait, no.
Yeah. See,
I'm
this is
sorry.
why we're besties because that's exactly where I wanted you to go, and you did.
No, it's a cult. That's why we refer to it as a cult. This is one of these things that they literally preach over and over and over and
Yeah.
over and over again, and they preach it, and they say your body's a temple, and you temples are open to 20. Yeah, you.
See, that's Bates is like writing our topic for today. Yeah. Thanks,
um
Bates.
but it's a cult. It teaches you, like
Mhm.
they do, especially they do this to men, but especially to females,
Yeah.
especially with our dress and our appearance.
Yes.
And
Yes.
we have to look a certain way. We have to like
Mhm.
long hair over short hair, like all of this stuff.
Yeah.
So we're going to get into that
Yeah.
about how this has affected our lives
Yeah.
because
It
I have
is.
decided I'm nearing 40 and I am entering
Mhm.
in act 2 of my life, and act 2's the fuck it phase. I've
Right?
deemed it. I'm like fuck it. If I want it, like fuck it. Like
Uh-huh. What yeah. Now, the way what I found, the way it wasn't as simple as do this, don't do that. There were times where they would specifically say you can do this and you can't do that. But a
Mhm.
lot of times it came down to shaming, especially if they said no and you did it anyway. Then they started the shaming. And that's what really got you. That's I mean, it's one thing to say no. It's another thing when because no is like a single occurrence, but then the shaming starts, and it's just shaming you for what you look like and what you've done and who you are in your expression of yourself. And that's the one that just carries forward and becomes just kind of sticks with you for a while. And
Mhm.
you live with that shame and that sometimes guilt, depending upon what it is. It could
Mhm.
be guilt that you're dealing with, and it's painful.
So because we have a list, because that's what we do.
Of
That's
course,
why
we have
we
a
love
list.
Bronner. We love Bronner and his outlines. Like he sends the outlines, and I'm like, yes.
we may joke about it, make fun of him, but we
Yeah.
are actually appreciative of his lists. Don't tell him that. Don't tell Bronner.
Shh. So our first
Be
one
our
is
secret.
appearance. We're going to talk about
Yeah.
appearance, and this was
Mhm.
one that they did harp on both men and females, males and females in different ways. Um,
Yes.
the first one that like affected both of us was
Mhm.
crazy hair colors, like, and hair in general, hair
Mhm.
appearance on boys with long hair. Like that was like a big like no, like no.
Think about hair in the 70s, like 60s and 70s, and then it's like the 80s and 90s. It's like they were trying to go against every all the hairstyles from like a lot of the hair. When they hit the 80s and 90s, it was like, "No, that's all bad."
But
They
you
were
also have
trying
to
to distance
remember
themselves from it.
in the 90s they sort of bucked against the 80s because they had the grunge factor. So you had all the grunge
Well,
long hair.
that was the other thing about the 80s. The 80s was the hair bands. Oh my god, the hair bands, the big but see, that's rock and roll. That's the hair bands,
It's
right?
bad.
That's bad. That's part of why they didn't like the hair. They wanted it to be neat and clean and trimmed and not because big hair what represented rock and roll, which is of course of the devil. We it's amazing how long that whole idea has stuck around. Music and yeah,
That devil music. The
that
devil
devil
music.
music. It's the gateway. It's the gateway all
The
sounds.
gateway
Gateway
sin, the
audio.
gateway sin. Yeah. But I remember like the men with long hair and girls, like
Mhm.
you had, they very rarely let, like they didn't say this specifically, but you didn't have the short hair. Like
Mm.
you have to have the long hair, like, and it had to
Mhm.
be well maintained, and um no, like neither one of it, no crazy hairstyle, no colors,
Unnatural colors. Yeah.
unnatural hair colors. That was just
Mhm.
no,
No, forget
no,
that. Yeah, they
absolutely not.
for any female, for any woman that wanted short hair, they might get it, but there's gonna be some you look like, "Oh, I'm sorry. You look like a boy from behind you look like a man or you look like a boy." There was all that subtle, "Oh," or if it was a guy, it was, "Oh, I thought
Mhm.
you were a girl. You look like a girl." That's the way that they shamed
Yeah,
you
and it
if
was very
you wanted.
by gender, like male or
Mhm.
female. There was no like accepting as they were as a whole,
Yep.
but and I'm more like a secret.
Oh my god.
our community's taken off with this "our bodies are a
Love
temple"
it.
thing, you know, and I'm letting
Yes.
them run with it.
Yes.
I'm totally okay with it.
But
Peace be with you.
Bear, that is a very good point. The whole idea of your body's a temple, it's total hypocrisy. It's
Mhm,
I want your body to look a certain way, which is absolutely if you look at cults, if you watch documentaries about cults, like the Keep Sweet one that we watched a few weeks ago, that's one
mhm,
of the major factors is you have to dress a certain way and you have to look a certain way, like your hair and all that, your style had to be all a certain way. So it's kind
mhm.
of when you grow up like that, it's kind of hard to deny that that's very cult-like, cult-ish. It was a cult, but that's just more
Well,
evidence to prove that. Yeah.
yeah, so that was a big one is like hair was like and you wouldn't think a lot of people nowadays like the church has sort of loosened up on that a little bit.
Hmm.
The modern church has loosened up on the hair issue, but
Yes.
when we were growing up, that was actually a big deal. That was one.
Hmm.
And so I always natural colors. I always wanted to dye my hair a different color. Like I would see these people getting these beautiful colors in their hair and these beautiful things and I'm like I always said to myself, "Oh god, I'm not brave enough to do that. I'm not brave enough. Like what am I having to be brave for? It's just hair." Like it's just
Hmm.
hair. Like I can dye it back if I want. I can fix it. It's just hair. But it was so ingrained in me that that was a rebellion. It's like red lipstick. It's like red lipstick and
Yes,
makeup.
the red
Oh, we don't even
lipstick.
have
Oh,
makeup on here. You know what? We'll put
we
that on
how
the
did
list.
we
I
how
don't
did we
know.
miss that? I
Okay,
remember
so
thinking it. All right,
segue.
there we go. It's
So
on the list.
I always like the makeup was very demure. It was very natural. If you had makeup at all, it was never anything too much. None of this glam
Yes.
makeup.
It was very subdued, very like earth tones, wasn't it?
Yes, browns and mauves,
Browns. Oh,
mauves,
yes.
and you were
Because you didn't want to
brave.
stand out.
No,
Heaven
and you were
forbid
brave if you did
you get
purple,
attention.
like pinks and
Ooh.
purples.
Yeah, pink. Oh yes, the pinks and purples. Yeah, because you don't you if you're a godly woman, you don't attract attention to your physical
Right.
appearance.
Everything should be clean and natural
Yes.
and
Yes.
subtle. And cuz you don't
So
want to
yes.
look like you're wanting attention and attracting attention. So,
Yes.
um when I started in on this whole deconstructing and it was like I haven't been in the church as long I've been out of the church longer than Sean has been out of the church.
Mhm.
And so but there are still some things that I really didn't address or that I didn't even notice were traumas or things that I held beliefs that I held on to because of my religious upbringing. I just thought, that's just how I was raised. Like I never really addressed like, well, I want to try these things, but why don't I want to try these things? Oh, thanks for
Oh,
subscribing,
thanks,
Nev.
Nev.
Can we form a coven now? Yes. Yes, you're gonna be
Yes.
my coven.
Yes.
Yes,
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely.
absolutely. Actually,
Mhm.
side note to that, my youngest daughter, we went to Comic Palooza yesterday, and my youngest daughter, they are some crystal and metaphysical booths set up, and my
Mhm.
youngest wanted to go. She goes, "Mommy, can we go back to the crystal store? Can we go back to the crystal one?" We never
Aw.
got back there, but she was all about some
Yeah.
crystals. I was like, "Oh, that's my baby." Me too.
Mhm. Raising him right. You are raising him right. Mhm.
So I've always loved makeup. I have since I was little. I've loved makeup. I loved the different color hair, but I never did it because I always thought, well, I'm not brave enough. Or I don't, maybe I was like, I always thought, well, I never look good with the bright colors. I just don't look good in that because I had convinced myself and I was raised and convinced by the church that bright eyeshadow, bright makeup, bright hair
Mhm.
colors would not look good on me. And it was one of those I keep saying, "Well, I just don't I love it on you. I love it. It just won't look right on me." Why?
Mhm.
I've never tried it. Why won't it look good on me? Why?
It's a good
Why is
question.
that? And I'm sitting here going,
Yeah.
eh, and I remember one of my erase the faces, I was taking off my makeup and I said, "Oh, well, maybe my midlife crisis will me going, trying some bright makeup." And then now that's all I
Mhm.
wear. All I wear is the
Yes.
bright makeup and the
It
bright
looks and it
lipstick.
looks fantastic. You were really good. You're really good with your makeup. Like your makeup from Comic Palooza yesterday was fantastic.
I'm gonna recreate it because we're having a blue day on Tuesday. We're gonna
Ooh.
blue out.
All right. Blew out. Nice.
Well, because one of our company colors, the main color is blue, so we're
Oh,
blue out.
okay.
But
Awesome.
we were taught to be natural. And so
Mhm.
anything like that was just you were being a whore. Like that, those are the words that they
That's
use. You were
yes.
being a whore. You looked like a
That's where
whore.
the shame
That
came
means you
in.
were acting like a
Mhm.
whore. That
They always attached
right, go ahead.
something to it. Yeah, they always attach something to it like that. If you wear this clothing or you put on this makeup, this color, you whatever, you are. It makes you look like a blah, or you are a whatever.
Whore red lipstick.
Yep.
My
Yes.
mom's favorite phrase
Hmm.
for red lipstick or red nails, even up through till we stopped communicating, even though we went no contact, was, oh, so you're wearing the whore red today. Like, or so, oh, your nails, like, oh, so you decided on the whore whenever we would go get our nails done, and I decided to do red nails.
Even nail polish.
Yes,
Even
whore red.
whore.
Everything was whore
This,
red.
Mom,
Anything was
some
whore
people
red.
call that candy apple. Oh my god.
Yes, but so I didn't even realize that the church had that much effect on me even after I'd been out that long until I
Hmm.
started, like right before Comic Palooza, I decided, fuck it, I'm putting purple in my hair. I want purple and red in my hair. Never done it,
Hmm.
want to do it. And you know what?
Yeah.
I'm going to do it. And it looked fantastic. My friend Haley did a beautiful job. It was wonderful.
Hmm.
I love it. Um, and they only knew I wore whore chapstick.
Wow.
It moisturizes when you're
What? Wait. Well, hold. Whoa. Wait.
if
Now
you wear
is that a
if you
natural moisturizer?
if you wear vitamin E chapstick thick enough,
Uh
you can
huh.
moisturize it while it's a double thing.
It's a double thing.
It's a
Oh, so it's a double
it's
thing.
dual purpose. It's dual purpose. You moisturize. It's dual
Oh,
purpose.
do- fantastic! That sounds like a different podcast.
Yeah.
Oh my
Thank you.
god.
And I enjoy it. It's something that does make me happy. I do try to keep it the
Hmm.
purple in my hair. It's still in
Would you
there.
do it again?
So, oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, exactly. No one wants a dried pickle.
Nobody wants to try pickle.
They want a
We can't.
moist cucumber.
All right. Yeah, I'm out. That's it. I'm done. Where's the button? Where's the log out button?
So, but yeah, and so now I've been trying, as you can tell, and you can see it if you watch in the progression of my streaming in these past 2 years, which we've almost hit exactly 2 years, y'all.
Have
The
we?
end of July. End of July,
Wow.
yeah.
People have been
Um,
watching us for 2 years.
I don't want to think about that. But if
Uh
you watch
huh.
the progression of my look and my appearance, starting from beginning of when I started streaming versus now, how I've grown to try those things, realizing
Hmm.
just because I look a certain way doesn't mean I am whatever it is I was made to believe that I was. I'm
Hmm.
not a whore because I wear bright colored lipstick or hair or eyeshadow. Like that doesn't make me a whore. Like
Hmm. Wearing certain makeup, lipstick, nail polish, it makes you a person who wears that stuff. That's all it does.
right.
But it's yeah. So you're right. I've seen that progression. I've seen your palette change, and you're like, I don't think I'll look good. I remember having conversation. I don't think I look good with bright colors. I remember talking about that. I'm like, no, give it a shot. Give it a try. I think you might. I think you might. And sure enough, you're like, oh my god,
Look how
I love
fun.
this. And now, like, I've seen the palettes that you're continuing to buy, and
Oh,
that's
my
and
Star
that's what
Wars
it is.
palette is my fave right now. My Star
Oh
Wars
my god,
palette.
it's so nerdy. I love it.
So, speaking of makeup and nail polish, and hairstyle, let's talk. We're just going down the list. Let's talk about some clothing, shall we? Let's talk about some clothes.
Oh, some clothing.
Some
Yes, some
clothes. So, I've been talking a lot about the female
clothes.
perspective. So, let's start with the male perspective on the clothes that you should wear and should not wear.
the clothes. Mm. Now,
Depends on
yeah,
what the capital is. It might be a bartering system. Some
that's
giveth and
true,
some taketh
bartering.
away.
Sometimes the capital was booty rubs, and sometimes it's something else.
Right. All right, go ahead.
The male's very. It's quite different because with the female you get this whole talk of slutty whore. With men, that the hair is the hair and the clothing. They often equate, whereas with women they say, "Oh, you look slutty," or "You look like a whore." With men, remember back in the '80s and '90s, the comparison was, "You look gay. You look insert pejorative term." That's what they did to men. Is you look like this effeminate. It was an attack. It was, you can't be masculine if you do a certain thing, wear certain clothing, or have your hair like long hair. You look like a, and whatever the term you want to throw in there. That's what they pushed. Um, and like I said, sometimes it wasn't as obvious as being specifically called out, or or hobo home, hobo, homeless. It was there was definitely attacking something about your character, or something about your status. Or like I said, the one I heard this one a ton was, they would indicate, like if you had long hair, "Oh, I'm sorry, I thought you were a woman from behind because of your long hair," or it was that
Like that was a
backhanded
bad thing.
way.
Like that was a
Yeah,
bad
yeah,
thing.
exactly. Yeah. And so they did it to men and women depending upon the hair, because it was always, if you were a male, you had to conform to these specific things.
Mhm.
With clothing, it wasn't, from my experience, it wasn't quite as rigid. Like in church, we had to wear certain clothes. We wanted to be dressed up. Church clothes, pretty much. Um,
Blue Ellie
Hey,
says,
Pep,
"Hey,
you're
Pep Pep, you're
pretty.
pretty."
Oh, thank you. You're pretty too.
Yay.
Um, um, I don't remember a lot. I say I don't remember a lot, but
Yeah, Bates, I get you.
mhm.
And keep going. You don't remember a lot.
Uh, I don't remember a lot. But what I'm concerned about is, kind of the realization that you came to. You didn't realize why you didn't wear the lipstick, or the makeup, or why you didn't. I'm like, am I making choices about my clothing because of that stuff? And I just do not realize that.
Mhm.
Um, collared shirts, and always had to look supposed to look clean and neat, and
You know what I find ironic? You know what I find
yeah,
ironic about the whole collared shirt, suit, and tie thing is that the
yeah.
BDSM community has taken that shit and ran with
Yes,
it.
I
Like
love that.
now, if you want to
Mhm.
be a good Christian, you don't go in a shirt and tie, you go in the polo and the khakis because all the
Yes.
DOMs have been like, fuck it, I'm taking this
The
suit that I
vest, the
had
suit,
for when I
the top.
attended church and I'm
Yeah.
about to beat somebody's ass and they're going to like it. So
I
now
love
the new
that.
uniform for like a
Yes.
very like dom is like the three-piece suit, and the
Yeah.
uniform for a good Christian guy is the polo, the polo with the
Yes.
jeans or the shirt with the belt. Like,
Pa I remember you had to dress up. Now, at my church, they didn't have to dress up like the kids had to wear a suit and tie kind of thing. Now, there were my parents' generation, they did, but my generation, my parents actually caught a lot of flack from her mom because she didn't put us in suits to church. But
you mean it was generational? Shut up.
right, exactly. Um, but yeah, you always had to look a certain way. Otherwise, what Nev said actually really struck, is you don't want to look homeless, or you look like your parents don't know how to dress you, or your parents don't have money, or you don't have money, because then it was a status thing. Now, there were adults that there was definitely appearance, dressed up in the suits, dressed up in the top coat and tie, what they were wearing, the watch, making sure they had the right watch that would show status. Yeah, right. And make sure that you conform to what they wanted you to look like.
But see, there was never once though, even when
Mhm.
you dressed casually or whatever, that it was never once about your sexuality. You were never once said, "Oh, well, like, you look a little slovenly today. That your body's a temple. You need to make sure."
Yeah.
For females, we were told
Mhm.
to look nice, but make sure that we were covered and make sure
Yeah.
that like layers were my jam. Like you had the tank top
Oh,
under the low cut
yes.
shirts. You
Mhm.
had no skirts above your knees, and if you had it like that was just not done. Like your shorts,
Yes.
very like I didn't start wearing like athletic type shorts until I was
Mhm.
well into college. Like my mom often we had shorter shorts, especially when I was a junior and senior in high school, back when I started just being like rebelling against the whole puritanical idea. And my mom was like, "Well, I didn't wear shorts until I was in college because she went to a Christian high school. A She went to one of those Christian boarding schools. So,
Oh.
yeah,
Mhm.
in the 70s. So they were hardcore. The dichotomy of having to look nice, but you not look too nice. Yes.
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 And
Mhm.
so it was all about it. We were responsible for looking modest so that we weren't responsible for
Oh,
leading boys
yes.
on or making the
Mhm.
causing predatory thoughts. We were told that it's and
Don't. Mhm.
don't look like a whore so that you don't tempt them.
I believe the verse has something to do with don't make your fellow man stumble. Don't make your fellow Christians stumble in their walk
Yeah, that
by
was the one we heard all
looking.
the fucking time.
Yes. So you wanted to look nice, but you couldn't look too nice. Exactly like Nev is saying. You had to look pretty, but not too pretty, not to draw attention to yourself,
Right,
because heaven
because
forbid
we
you do
wanted
that.
to remain pure and we wanted to be the good.
Yeah.
And here's where it bled over. And even still, like I'm on a freaking kink podcast, and still to this
Mhm.
day, the healthy way of thinking about this is consent. No matter what I am wearing, no matter I could walk out freaking naked. Like it is not your job to touch me. It is not your job to do anything. It is all about
Mhm.
consent. It is all about what I feel comfortable as. And
Mhm.
it's not your job to decide whether I'm a whore or not. I could walk around
Mhm.
naked and not sleep, touch, or talk. I could.
Mhm. Yeah.
That doesn't
What
make me
you
a
what you
whore.
wear is not an invitation
Right.
to
And,
someone
but
else.
even still, not that I'm going to walk around naked because I have body issues. Thank you, fucking church.
Mhm.
I'm not
Yep.
going to do that. But short skirts. I have shorts
Mhm.
and sure I like wearing clothes like that. Not always in public, but like I like wearing clothes like that. But then I feel like am I being a little too racy? Am I being a little
A little too
too
provocative.
provocative? Exactly am I trying to like, because it's
What are you
always has
telling other people?
yeah, it's always about what image am I trying to portray? Like I must be inviting that in. I am taking responsibility. I literally in my own home taking responsibility for how other people see me.
Mhm.
Why?
Yeah. And Nev, I agree with you. Yeah. The what the church didn't realize is they were promoting the objectification.
Mhm.
Because if everything you do, if the way you look and the way you behave all has to do with whether or not you are sexualized, whether or not someone is going to look at you a certain way or treat you a certain way, you are telling people and you're telling men that we can't control ourselves, and it's
And it's
women
not
are
your
sexual.
fault. It's not their fault. It's my
Mm-mm.
fault. I
Yes.
have to be the
You should
one.
you shouldn't have dressed that way. You shouldn't have
I
worn
shouldn't
that.
have
You
dressed
shouldn't have
that
looked that
way.
way.
Right.
Yeah, you shouldn't have. Yeah, you were looking too good. Mhm. Yeah, can't look too good. Yep. And I remember there was one person in the church, there was one girl in the youth group who developed earlier than other girls in the youth group, and she had problems. She had clothing problems because what they wanted her to wear was difficult for her to wear.
Button up
And
shirts. Was it button up shirts?
yes, yes, it was. Yes, it was. Mm-hmm.
That's
And
why
so,
layering was my friend.
yeah,
Layering was my friend.
inevitably there was a malfunction. There was always she had a lot of difficulty. Bathing suits were another problem for her. That's one thing. The church. Oh, this was a big one in my church. Was whenever there was a pool event, some event, going to the beach or whatever, it was one piece that was specifically called out. You had to wear one piece bathing suits. Two pieces? No. Apparently the belly area is like Satan's bread box. I don't know what that is, but
That's why I have a problem wearing like I started here recently like wearing
hmm
midriff shirts and the crop because crop tops are starting to come back in fashion, and
yeah.
I actually still have an issue with that because it's like, am I like showing my belly
What
button? Like
I
does
know,
that
like heaven forbid you. I
like
mean,
my
you have a
stomach is like
you
it's become an area. It's not because I'm fat, but it's my stomach becomes a very self-conscious area. I have no
because you're.
problem putting my boobs out on display, but something
hmm
about my belly button area, my stomach, it's because they tell you wear one pieces, don't
Cover it
do
up.
crop
You have to
tops,
cover
don't
that up.
show your belly.
Yes.
Like don't show your belly.
There's
Don't show your belly. Like never.
How did the belly button area? How did that become yes, absolutely rock crop tops. We all support your crop tops.
Thanks.
Absolutely.
Anyway,
Yes, something about that belly button area you could not show off.
Nev, you were
You
right because I was one of those. I was one of
Mhm.
those. That's how I knew when she's like had problems because button up shirts.
Mhm.
That was my problem.
Mhm.
I still to
Yeah.
this day have problem with button up shirts. So like what fit me in the waist and like just don't it.
You end up
So
having to wear clothes that is not flattering on your form in order to address that one specific area. Because if you don't, you're going to get called out for it.
yeah, baggy clothes a lot. I
Mhm.
looked like a bag, like I looked baggy all the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's like belly, like, and I to this day, I still have problems like in my own home. Now, this is not me going out to the gym and doing this or walking in public. This is in my own home. I still have problems working out in just a sports bra. I have problems walking around. Like, I feel very self conscious when I'm like
Mhm.
wearing a crop top shirt, even though it's like, oh, I feel cute. And I like it in my own home. Nobody's seeing
Yeah.
me except me, my spouse, and my kids. Like, no one else is seeing me, but I'm over here going,
You're freaking out. Inside your head, you're freaking out. Yeah,
because the church has said apparently my belly is like Satan's gateway. I don't know. Like,
it is. It's the belly button and the ankles. Oh, the ankles.
yeah, but here's the thing. They had no problem seeing my cleavage, like as long as it
Mhm.
wasn't too much. But my belly
Yeah, you show a
button,
little bit. Yes, the belly button. Oh no. Yeah, no. I'm like, I don't. What I always I remember thinking. What was funny? Of course, the Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue. My brother had a subscription back in the day. Um, what I remember thinking what I found funny. There are one piece bathing suits that are a lot skippier or a lot more revealing than most two-piece bathing suits. And I was like, and I remember thinking, I wonder if my youth leaders, I wonder if someone could get away with that. Probably not, but still.
probably not. But
Yeah.
yes, no, so it's something that I still struggle with, and it's like
hmm
I feel cute, but I'm hyper aware of any article, like any skin that is showing in public.
hmm
Like I'm very aware of that, and it still affects me to this day. It's still like it makes me now I'll do it. I will do it.
hmm
But I in my head am over here going find a shadow, find a corner, find something to
You
hide behind. Like that is literally what's going on in my head.
didn't you do that at the con? Didn't you wear a crop top at the con?
Yeah, I wore a crop top a couple times, but it was never
Okay.
it's never during the con, it was during setup.
Oh, okay, that's right, that's
It
right.
was never in public. I was completely covered in
Oh,
public. Always covered in
oh,
public.
okay. Because I was wondering. Well, I knew you would. Well, I was just thinking. I was like, because that's a big. It was a big deal for you. I thought to do
It
that
was,
because you
and
don't.
that was like that was
Yeah.
my little act of I just dyed my hair, and I was like, you know what? Okay,
Mhm.
I was like getting in my pajamas because I was gonna go to bed. That's what I wore to bed, and they were like, hey, can
Uh
we
huh.
have a meeting? And I was like, sure. And so I come downstairs, and I'm like, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. Like the whole time I'm going down the escalator, I'm like, oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck, oh
You
fuck.
were in your head hard, weren't
I
you?
was terrified because I was like, people are seeing my
Mhm.
belly. That's not okay. But
And
I was like,
I believe everyone was totally okay with that.
whatever. It's fine. It was fine. I
Mhm.
it is what it is. And so it's something that immensely and emotionally still to this day we all survived. Thanks, Bates. I'm glad y'all all
Mhm.
survived seeing my belly button. So glad. Congratulations.
Yeah. Mhm.
So
If you want to know more about Aruga's belly button, there is a podcast.
we are
There
moving
is a
past my belly
there's
button.
an
No, my belly
episode of a
button. No, we are moving past that. We are going past that one. People are obsessed with my belly button. I don't know
we don't
why.
want to you don't want to go down the rabbit hole, the navel hole.
No, because we don't have time. We're already running
Okay.
yeah, okay. All right.
Mhm. Oh my
Past it.
god. So, so appearance. So appearance is a big deal.
Oh, I'm
Exposure therapy.
sorry,
Yeah.
no. Oh,
Yep. It's like it's like fear when you got to get over fear, you just have to expose yourself to it as much as possible. So I think that's what Nev's saying he needs.
body modification. Let's move on. Okay, well, you know what?
Oh.
Let's start with the belly button. Let's start with the belly
Mhm.
button. Belly button rings. Those
Oh,
were
yes.
huge back when we were a teenager.
They
Huge. Everyone
were.
was getting belly button
Yes.
rings.
And they had the jeweled ones, like the really fancy, like they'd have the ones that hang down into the belly button, like have a little star or have a little this little fake jewel in it. Yeah, I you, you're thinking it, aren't you?
I'm
Yes,
watching your
yes,
face and it's
yes.
making my day. Hey, Sean, your drama showing. Your drama kink is showing.
So I was getting no, I was gonna say, um, for women, like you're talking about having to hide the belly button. Belly button was kind of a thing. Um, Is it possible that men develop the same thing in the other direction, where develop? You think maybe the belly button kink comes from that idea of it being this place that can't be seen?
It was the most researched in like what was it, 2012?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Which okay, we don't have time for that. We'll move on. We'll move on.
So,
That will be for August 5th when Nana and
uh,
PepPep are doing with John Marsh on Dings with
yes,
Kinks.
we are.
So
We have a crossover episode.
we're having a crossover episode because John and Shep are going on vacation, having a must need, vacay. But
Mm-hmm.
so Sean and I are with our guest John Marsh, and we're actually going to be talking religious trauma in regards to kinks and sexuality. Specifically, I know that we discussed trauma, but like
Mm-hmm.
specifically religious trauma and how they affect our sexuality. So it's going to be
Yes.
awesome. So that's August 5th. August 5th, normal
Mm-hmm.
Dinks with Kinks live stream time. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Belly dancers,
Yep.
just
Bear
saying.
belly dancers. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
But
Hips
like
don't
any
lie.
piercings, belly buttons were big
Mm-hmm.
when we were teens.
Yeah.
That was like the big.
Yeah.
Sounds like Pep is getting turned around. Right? Right? He has a thing for
I
things for belly
mean,
button jewelry, apparently. Bonnie, cover your belly.
yeah, but remember who I told you who I revealed to you had one and you didn't know?
No, I don't remember.
My ex.
Oh, that's
Remember I
right.
told you my ex had one? Yeah.
Oh, is that why
Probably
you
shouldn't
stayed
have
with
warned you,
her?
but she did. That's probably why. Well,
Probably why.
eventually she took it out or it popped out. I'm not sure which one happened.
Got covered up.
Anyway, that's beside the point. Oh my god.
Anyway,
Why are you
anyway.
like this?
I don't know. Okay,
Um,
so piercings. So we like girls were only supposed to have their ears pierced. Don't have
yes.
any facial or body piercings.
Oh
Like
no.
no, no, no,
Mm.
no, no,
And
no.
even the ears, it was like single, small, understated, subdued, piercing in each ear kind of thing. Don't go crazy. No septum piercings, no cartilage piercings, no
Eyebrow piercings. I
eyebrow.
was like,
Yes. Mm-hmm.
only
Yep.
the
See,
whores
see,
got
bears with
those.
me.
Yeah, only the
Yeah,
whores got
absolutely.
them.
Yep.
Like
Oh yeah. And that was for.
I
hmm
don't know about you, but we were taught to be afraid of people like that. Like
Yes. No, I was too.
subliminally, we were taught because if they enjoyed that type of pain, if they enjoyed looking
hmm
like that, imagine like they are going like we were just taught somehow subliminally. I don't even think it was outright, but to fear people like that. Those people
hmm
are going to lead you astray. Those people are out to do
Yes.
you harm. Those
You
people
want to
are
stay
out.
away from those people.
Those people.
Those people.
Those
Yes. It was
people.
very much categorizing people us against them. Those you do not associate. Anyone that had a contrary idea, those apostates, heathens, whatever, those are people you want to stay away from.
Nev. And then later it became it had to be specific ear, otherwise you were gay. Yes, it had to
Yes.
be
I
very
was getting ready to say,
specific.
yeah. Yeah, for men. Oh, yeah, men. And again, it was always the whole, oh, you got your guy's ears pierced. Oh, he's gay. He looks gay. He's whatever. Yeah, that was always it was first of all, it was saying gay is an attack against your masculinity. And then or just outright direct attack against your masculinity. Some Yes, they are. Absolutely. But you
Um,
didn't know that because
right.
you didn't hang
Because you were
around
taught to
them.
fear them. You were taught to feel like that
Yes,
they were
avoid them.
those people. Um,
Yep.
and I know that some people, I call that othering of groups, a certain political party.
Mhm.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, that
yeah.
happened in the 80s, late 80s, I think.
That's happening now. Those people.
Well, it started then.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was always those people. And for me, being gay was another one of those. I think I told about it in the previous podcast. That was another one of those people. You don't associate with them. You keep it
Those
because
people.
apparently if you're with them, if you're near them, they'll rub off on you.
Yeah. They like so yeah, piercings that I was taught to address piercings that way, created on those who truly cause a huge divide. And yeah, it does. Othering
Mhm.
has been
Yeah.
yes. And it
Yes.
was
Mhm.
one of these we were taught to not find those attractive. Like we were raised to not find any
Mhm.
type of piercings that
Yes.
was
You
not attractive
you associated that with. Mhm.
with bad. So you're told those I'm just not into it. I'm just not into
Sounds like brainwashing to me.
oh, stop it. What? We were told not
Right?
to like piercings, like the gauges, the people
Mhm.
with gauges, like
Oh,
that. Oh, when
yes.
gauges started becoming popular,
Woo. Mhm.
they were punks. They were just lost people. They were people who had like no like they
Yeah.
weren't smart. They were less than people. Like it's amazing how deep
Mhm.
it went and how far it went and how prejudiced it made us in that in and how we were supposed to look a certain way. Like we don't
Mhm.
do that because we're good and we're want to be professional and business and succeed in life. What does them having piercings and gauges and different color hair, why does that make them any less intelligent or talented or successful in life? It doesn't. It doesn't, but that is what we
Mhm.
absolutely believed in.
Yep. I remember I didn't realize how much that had affected me until I walked into a tattoo place. When I, or the idea of walking into a tattoo place because it felt in my head it felt like another world, like a whole subculture of like normal people don't do this. Normal people don't get tattoos. Normal people don't get piercings. They go to Claire's for a piercing. They don't go to a place like this, a tattoo parlor. They don't. No. I didn't realize how much that affected me until I caught myself going, why am I thinking like this? Why is there some hesitation or some perspective that says these people are not normal people? And what is normal anyway? Yeah.
Claire's, yeah. Which
You're
actually
right.
is more dangerous to get your ears pierced at
Yes.
Claire's than it is to go to a specific tattoo and piercing place,
Mhm.
because it is unclean. It is unclean and unsanitary.
Uh,
And yes,
yes.
when my daughter because our rule was at 10. When they're old enough to take care of their piercings, we'll take them to go get it pierced.
Mhm.
And so, um, I researched, and then there's actually, they do proper needle piercing, and it's
Mhm.
specifically for kids, but it's proper needle piercing. And I was like,
Mhm.
perfect. So that way they never had the gun, they didn't have any, it was clean, it was
Right?
sanitary, and it was such a great experience for both, for my kids and for us. And it was just,
Mhm.
yeah. I 100%
It's
anytime, like,
isn't it
no.
isn't it funny that the people that you're told to stay away from are actually the people who are better at like like tattoos or piercings. They are more professional, better, cleaner, sanitary. They're the people that do it better, but you're told no, stay away from those people. The same way with like the the BDSM community and like consent, right? You're told to stay away from these people, but they're the people who know, who are better prepared and are better mentally healthy to deal with things like consent. Now, I never really learned about consent until until getting into kink. Like, holy cow, that's yeah. But you're told to avoid those people because they're bad people.
I have never felt safer in my body or with my
Mm-hmm.
sexuality than I have with my kink community and
Mm-hmm.
with my friends who are participate. I felt less safe in the church than I did, because
Mm-hmm.
it's one of those, we accept you for who you are. Your body is beautiful. We
Yes.
love everything about you, and nothing is going to
Yes.
happen. We respect your boundaries. We won't touch you. We won't talk. If you say that's too much, or you say I'm uncomfortable, we instantly stop, and they instantly check in
Mm-hmm.
on you. Like, they say, hey, I don't want to talk about this anymore, or this makes me uncomfortable. They're like, okay, cool. So, and they respect you. And I think that that's the one thing
Yes.
that they didn't teach you in church, because they didn't want you to, like, they didn't respect
That's
you. They
right.
didn't, like, yeah, anyway. Hey.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
Yeah.
back on the subject of piercings and tattoos. Speaking of tattoos, Harloo.
Tattoos. Yes. So I got my first tattoo in my 20s, early 20s. I grew up, tattoos, again, tattoos were evil. You don't associate with people like that. There was a point where I was playing around with the idea of getting a tattoo.
Oh,
My
you
parents had told
naughty
me,
boy.
I
Naughty
know,
bad boy.
so naughty, so naughty. I kind of threw out the idea to my parents, test the waters. I might get a tattoo. So it was when I was under 18, it was, you don't get a tattoo. You live under my roof. You follow my rules. You don't get a tattoo. Body's a temple. That was always the thing. Your body's a temple. Whatever that was. Yeah. Whatever. They didn't want to get, so they would throw out whatever. Oh, it's permanent. It's you're never gonna be able to get rid of it. Well, it's not exactly true, but still, yeah. Which point? Heaven forbid I get something that's permanent. Um, so you live under my roof, my rules. Then I went to college. Then I then I moved off campus and lived up there after my sophomore year. So I was no longer under their roof. Then they pulled out the next stop. Well, we're if you were to do that, then we're not going to be able to pay for your college. So it became so they started pulling the strings to get me to do what they wanted me to do or not do what they didn't want me to do. So it became well, we're going to stop paying for your school. I called their bluff, and I ended up getting a tattoo. But that was my it was my act of rebellion. I was like, I'm gonna get a tattoo. But I did get it in a place that I could easily hide it. I got it on my arm, and I got it so it only extended to a certain point where my sleeves covered it up. because I was gonna have it, and I knew I had it, but they didn't know I had it. And so it wasn't until after I had graduated that they found out that I had a tattoo.
And
Yeah.
he's a fidgeter, so he of course does this, and he's a
That's how they
dumbass.
that's how they found out. Is I was at my parents' house one day, and I was standing there, and I did this, and they of course they saw it. That was
Dumbass.
my I know. Of
But
course
you
I
were
did.
young and dumb back then. Of course you did.
I was young and dumb.
But
Now I'm old and dumb. It's a different thing.
okay, so I have always wanted a tattoo. Always. Like I have always
Mhm.
wanted one. But it, like you said, it's permanent. Your parents were like, it's permanent. It's permanent. And I remember when I was little and I was drawing, I told the story before. I was drawing with markers on my legs or whatever. And unwarranted, this, she was a bitch anyway. I hate her. But she came up to me and was like,
Uh-huh.
it says in the Bible, you should not have markings on your body. She quoted this Bible verse, whatever. I was a
Yes.
kid. I was like, oh. And at 7 or 8, you're like very impressionable, especially when you're deep in the church and that's your life. And so I didn't realize how much that traumatized me until like I started getting older. I got out of the church. I started all this stuff. And
Mhm.
I'm like, I really want a tattoo. And I've been talking about it for years. Like since I was in my 20s, I want a tattoo. I want a tattoo, but it's permanent. I haven't found really anything I like. I heard it hurts. I don't know. I work in the
Ex
schools.
I'm hearing
Like,
excuses. I'm hearing a lot of
right. A
excuses.
lot of excuses because I was told my body was a temple. My body, like, this is permanent.
Mhm.
People with tattoos are bad. People with tattoos, um, you
Do bad
know,
things. It's a
do bad
gateway
things.
thing.
It is like, oh, they imagine
Mhm.
they tell you to fear these people with like the tattoos all over their faces and their body. They always go to
Oh,
the extreme.
yes!
They
Yeah,
always went to the
they
extreme.
always went to the
It
extreme.
wasn't one
Yep.
gauge, it was the facial piercings and the tongue like all
Yes.
of like it is the major like
It
they
was the
always go to the
split tongue.
extreme. Right.
Yeah, yes. It was always trying to scare you. "Is this what you want?"
Yes. And is that what you want to how to represent yourself as somebody
Yes.
who
Or,
can't get
"How are you gonna get a job?" That one came up to me all the time. "How are you gonna no one's gonna wanna employ you if you have a tattoo, cause."
right,
Mhm.
right, Nev, right.
Right?
right.
Yeah, it doesn't really make sense. They all use that, and it
And
was
I love tattoos. I love looking at them. I love
Mhm.
admiring the artwork. I do because and some of it's like, okay, you got SpongeBob on your body. I mean, you do you, boo. I
You do
was like,
you.
okay.
Exactly.
I
Yeah.
always wanted one, and I've always been literally terrified. And it's not even of the
Mhm.
pain. I've literally been terrified of the perception other people are going to think of me. And it was never
Yep.
that I didn't want it and I didn't want it badly. It was the fact um dudes with their dick out, but you can't get a tattoo. You right.
I mean, yeah.
It
Mhm.
seemed with the colored hair. Like I didn't want people to perceive me as one of those people. And just like
Yep.
you don't realize when you are raised that way that that is ingrained in your psyche and that is
Mhm.
ingrained in who you are and your thought process and how
It
you
becomes a
feel
part of you,
about
yeah.
things. It was a part of me.
Mhm.
And I go, I've always wanted a tattoo, but I never knew. I've always been afraid to get it because I didn't want people to have the wrong perception of me. And
Mhm.
then I was like, again, entering the fuck it phase. Let's go
Yep.
get a tattoo.
Let's
So
do it.
I went and got my tattoo,
Woohoo! Look at that.
which I designed myself, which is very
That's
awesome.
awesome.
So I
Mhm.
didn't just choose one off the wall. And so my tattoo is the symbol for female with
Mhm.
red flowers in the middle and a compass because I knew I always wanted a compass. Like that has been something I've always wanted. So it has the compass on it.
Mhm.
But I realized something this morning. Sean, and I wanted to I waited,
Oh god, here it is.
I didn't tell you
Yes.
beforehand because I wanted your
Mhm.
your honest reaction.
You wanted a reaction video, that's what you
I
wanted.
did, I
Alright,
did. I got the clip it button ready. I
give
realized
it
the
to me.
location because it's on
Mhm.
my right
Mhm.
inner
On the
calf.
inside, you still
No,
mhm. No?
when I am in the stirrups at the OBGYN, my doctor is going to know exactly where I stand on the pro choice, pro life issue. She's going to know exactly where I
Yes.
stand, and it's going to be slap dab in her face.
Right there. I mean, because when your legs are in a stirrup, that's probably what she's gonna focus on. I mean, that makes sense to me.
It
Yeah.
is literally she's like in the stirrup, you look over. There it is. There it is.
Alright.
Like if you have any
Yeah.
question, where I
See
stand is right
yeah,
there in your
yeah,
face with my
exactly.
hoo ha right in your face.
Mhm. See, you need to get one on the other leg so there's, like, a matching you can get, like, this field cross right happen right there. Yep. See, now the whole audience is thinking about you about your tattoo in the stirrups, so thanks for derailing this podcast.
Oh my god.
But you're right. Yep, she
Stop
will. And
sexualizing
so
me.
will you wait, you just said your hoo-ha's in your OBGYN's face.
I said
I
hoo
didn't
ha.
sexualize nothing. You said
Mhm.
hoo-ha, that's right. And that's what I said. Mhm. She will know where you stand and where you lie.
Get tattoo that says look at the other side on the ankle.
Over there. It's his finger just pointing. It's mouth yeah.
But I got it, and I my fear was that I wasn't gonna like it because I was told it's permanent. Like being
Mhm.
permanent was a bad thing. Like I wasn't like it was a
The
bad
idea of
thing.
permanency, of definitive,
Like
can't change it.
I think the reason that the church really stuck on that was because if I did that, there was no going back. I had chosen to be one of those people. So it's to keep me from even thinking about it.
Yep. Hey, so
Hey,
much.
Stomach, I saw your. I'll get to it when I'm done streaming. Okay, sweetie. I did see them pop up on my watch. So I'm just letting you know.
Mhm.
But those kids, brah, they're permanent. Yeah.
The permanent, yeah. Well, your what? Piercings can close up, hair grows out, clothes you can change your clothes. The tattoo, that was the one thing they knew once you did it, like you said, you can't go back. Once you did it, you did it.
Mhm. Yeah.
So they
And
harped, yeah, they harped on that.
and that's what like Kevin's like, how am I gonna be perceived? Am I doing the right one? Like, but nowadays
Mhm.
in mainstream culture, it's like, how do you not have one? Like I've gotten like and
So many, yeah.
I honestly think that our generation, there's a lot of people that are our age, like in their late 30s,
Mhm.
mid 40 or mid the 40s, around the 40s, who are getting tattoos, who are getting those
Mhm.
piercings, who are cutting their hair and doing those things as a sign of you don't, as almost like an outward sign to the church, like telling them you don't have the rights to my body anymore.
Yes. I think the other thing that they were trying to keep you from doing, that all of these things come down to, is it's self-expression. The way you
Mhm.
dress, your piercings, your tattoos, that is all self-expression. And when you grow up in a cult, self-expression is antithesis. They don't want you to do that. They want you to conform, and there's no individual. So they anything that encompasses that self-expression, they shun, they shame, and they steer you away from. But now all of these people that grew up like that have gotten to this point where they're finally starting to deal with how they grew up, and realizing, you know what, I'm going to do the thing that I've always wanted to do. I'm going to realize I understand why I didn't do it, and now I'm going to do it because it's
And this is actually a normal phase of development. And I've done research on this, and Miko can probably verify, but I'm not going to speak authoritatively on it. But
Mhm.
from what I have read, a normal stage of development is when that's why they call it the rebellious teens. Is they pierce, they dye their hair, they try the weird clothes, they
Mhm.
do all the things because they are searching and experimenting with who they are and their identity as a human being, what they believe, what they want to believe, the
Yep.
music they listen to. They are developing and trying these things. That's
Yes.
what the rebellious teens, or they're going through a phase. Well, that's because they're trying different things to discover what they like. They are branching
Yes.
out from being from the parents of what being
Mhm.
told, and the teenagers that were allowed to experimented and got out there, and
Mhm.
college, especially when you get college, you're trying all the different things, and the dyeing your hair and the piercings and all these things. Our generation, the people like us who grew up in the church and who were told, this is how you will dress, this is how you will look, this is the music you will listen to, these are the friend type of friends you will have, these are
Mhm.
the type of beliefs that you will have. We're never allowed that stage of development of self-expression. We were never allowed to find out, and we were taught, even if we had those urges, to suppress them.
Mhm.
So
Yep.
where we felt those things and had those thoughts and had those desires to tattoo our body or dye our hair, but learn how to gaslight ourselves and convince ourselves how that
Yes.
was a bad thought and that was a bad thing.
Mhm. Yep. That's what they did. They taught us and they repeated everything until we could gaslight ourselves, and then they didn't have to.
Right. So that even out of the church, I'd been out of the church. I'm still doing it. I still do it.
Mhm.
Like even
Mhm.
into so
Yeah.
yeah. And
That's
so
why they get them young.
yeah. So we're going through that expression, and that's why we're going through that phase of I'm not I I'm done with people telling me how I should look, or how I should
Mhm.
what I should have on my body, or how I should do what I'm done with people telling me what I should wear, how I should look, how I should feel. Like I think
Mhm.
that that's where
And
I
mhm.
and you feel and think however you want, but I think I'm starting to claim that ownership of myself.
Good.
But it's a very hard process. It's not as simple as I'm just going to do it. Like
You
no, no,
don't
no,
flip
no.
a switch.
No. I
You're
decide I
fighting
want to do it.
yourself.
I do, and
Yeah.
I fight myself every single second of the and
Yes.
I've had this
And you
tattoo for
question
like
yourself.
over a week, and I
Mhm.
keep looking at it
Mhm.
and I going, "Did I make a right decision? Do I really
Mhm.
love it? Is it really good? Is this a good choice? Like, did I uh, like, I mean, I do love it, but then I feel guilty
Mhm.
for loving it because,
Yes.
like, it's a thing. It is a thing that
It's nasty. It's an absolute nasty cycle that you end up in, that gaslighting yourself, and it stays with you for a very long time.
it does. It
Yeah.
does. Let's dance around listening to the song, and I feel
Mhm.
Yeah, way to go, babe.
So
But
I got
yeah,
I got my tattoo years ago, 20 years ago, and I'm just now getting, and that was in my rebellion phase, but I haven't done anything since then. And so now I'm starting to go, as we've been talking about this and figuring out our trauma and understanding it. I'm like, I've been wanting to get this touched up or redone for a while. Why haven't I? Why haven't I done that? And I realize it's because that idea of, so before it was rebellion, but now it's not rebellion. It goes to the, well, what are other people going to think? It's there right now, but if I do something to it now, it's fully my decision, and there's no rebellion there. And that's when it hit me about the whole, like, viewing tattoo parlors, piercings, and as like a subculture, and like, this isn't, I'm not part of that. That's different. Those are different people. And I'm like, holy crap, I still have that in my head. I'm still, that, no, that's not okay. So then I started to really analyze. I'm like, you know what? It is time. I need to get this redone. I want to get this covered up, and I've got an idea for getting it covered up. So,
so I already want another one. I'm like,
right, see,
they were right. It's like once you get one, now you want to get all the things. I was like, so it's bad. It's so bad. It's like with
once
my
you break,
hair. I'm like, it's purple. It's really purple. What if I go blue
hmm
next? It's really bad.
right,
But I'm trying to keep myself
what,
at least one step at a time. one thing at a time. Let's deal with one trauma at a time. Not let's not get
Mhm.
overboard. Little baby steps. We need to do
Yeah.
this properly. Deal with the traumas one
Mhm.
at a time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we get told keep clean. That's how like we were dirty. If
Mhm.
you got tattoos or piercings or you were certain
Yeah.
like you were a dirty person. Your body
Mhm.
was dirty and you were not presenting the best witness to other people. You were not you're defiling the
What would
temple
other
of
people
God.
think? Yes.
Defiling the temple of
Mhm.
God. Ironically enough, one of the stories is, Jesus went into the temple and like fucked that shit up because they were like not treating it correctly, but whatever. Let's not even go into that.
It's where does all of that stuff come from? Why is it body mod? Why is all that stuff such? Where do Christians come up with why I can't do these things? Wherever does it come from?
I don't know.
It comes from a good bit of it comes from Leviticus, because in Leviticus, when we're talking about the tribe in Leviticus, um, they had very strict rules. The Levite tribe, very strict rules of what
Mhm.
they're supposed to do. And so what they'll do is people will pull the scriptures that say don't eat this, don't look this, don't what they forget is that there's a whole lot of rules. There's a rule about not cutting your hair. But they don't look at those. They pick out the individual ones that they like the tattoos and the piercings, and you're only supposed to do certain things in certain ways, and they pull it out and go like, "This is how it's all supposed to be." No. Um, and then it's in Corinthians where they talk about your body as a temple. You don't own. It even says you are not your own. I'm like, really?
Right.
You are not your own.
Right. It
That's a
was
problem.
very much not being told that we had to do what they told us to do. We had to look a certain way
Hmm.
because our bodies, it wasn't our choice. Self
Yep.
expression meant self
Yep.
thought, meant which meant independence and
Hmm.
self-reliance, and
Hmm.
self-reliance means you can't rely on the church and that you fall out of it.
Yes.
And I think the church understood you have to control them down to the minute details,
Mhm.
and they do that, and they did that, and
Yes.
it is so damaging, and it's very much
Mhm.
that I've been out of the church for 20 something years, and I still and have been talking about how I wanted a tattoo and how I wanted all these to do all these things and still live with that
Mhm.
fear. Live with the fear of of the perception of me.
Mhm. Yeah. It was always about there's so much in Christianity, so many things that were taught or so often taught that it was about other people's perception. You don't want to make your brother stumble. It's all about what will people think of you. It's all of it's not just the you do something wrong, it is the appearance of wrong. Oh, you should abstain from the appearance of evil. And so they control you. They make you think that okay, this thing is wrong and people are going to look at you a certain way. And so it doesn't become about you doing something wrong. It becomes about other people thinking you might do something wrong or you are doing something wrong. Like so now I'm responsible for what everybody else thinks about me and the choices that I make?
And
What?
that's the way and it's actually the sad thing about females is that's what the culture is. Well,
Mhm.
you shouldn't dress that way and you wouldn't be
Mhm.
asking for it.
Y
You shouldn't look
yes.
that way. No, actually, I can look however the fuck I want. You need to
Mhm.
control your actions.
Yes. Mhm. Exactly. Become responsible for yourself and not somebody else's.
Right.
Mhm. Yeah,
I
so
can
Christianity becomes
look
all about.
however I
Mhm,
want.
mhm,
That doesn't mean that I'm over here asking to get essayed, or I'm asking
yeah,
to get touched inappropriately, or I'm asking
mhm,
for somebody to talk to me inappropriately. No,
mhm.
actually, I can dress however I want, and you need to know that that is not acceptable and not appropriate.
Yes, yes. Spend less time teaching daughters about how to not do what they want, how to be ashamed of themselves, and to spend more time focusing on teaching boys what consent really is.
Yep,
Facts.
facts. So,
Mhm.
just like I always say, wear the red lipstick, get the
Yes.
tattoo, get the
Mhm.
piercing, dye or cut your hair,
Yep.
whenever
Self.
the spirit moves you, however the
Oh my
spirit moves
god.
you, however the spirit
Did you
leads
just
you. I did.
whatever the Lord lays on your
Whatever
heart.
the Lord lays on your heart, do that shit.
We're gonna have an entire podcast, entire episode of everything we say is going to be a cliche. Is gonna be a
Everything that we've heard
phrase.
over. Okay, I
Yeah.
approve. I approve of that. But I honestly, I am. It is very liberating. Like when I got my hair dyed, and I kept looking at it, I kept going, "Oh, it looks good." Like
Mhm.
I like it, and like the
Yeah.
tattoo, I am still getting used to it, and it's one of those. It's permanent.
Mhm.
It's permanent. You know what? I like the fact that it's permanent.
Yeah.
I can't wait till the healing stage is done and I can see the final thing. Like I am
Right?
excited about it. And
Mhm.
this stage in my life, a lot of people call the midlife crisis, but I think for me, as much as a midlife crisis is so much as me going through the self discovery phase that I never got. I never had the
Mhm.
opportunity. Now I said my dark 20s. I went through a hoe phase. I already did my hoe phase,
Mhm.
but that had a lot to do with being assaulted and a trauma and things that
Yeah.
other different that was not religious things. That was not it.
Yeah.
This is more having to do with my body and my clothes and my makeup
Mhm.
and
Your s your
my
self-expression.
personal self-expression that I
Mhm.
never got. And that doesn't mean I changed necessarily as a person. It's just like I'm actually able to experiment and realize, hey, that's great. Hey, the hairstyle's great. Hey, the hairstyle is not so
Yeah.
great. Hey,
Yeah,
this song
and
is
you might.
awesome.
Mhm.
No, the song isn't. Like,
Yeah. And you may realize that there are things that you try that you don't like, but not because somebody else told you didn't like them, but because
right,
you don't like them.
right. So, yay. Get the things tattooed. Get the things pierced. Get
Get the
wear the
yes.
shoes. Wear the skirts. Wear the dresses if you're a dude. I don't care. Like if you want to wear it,
Wear
wear it.
nothing.
Wear
I mean, we're
nothing.
totally okay with that too. Yeah, I mean, that's fine. Absolutely.
Don't let anybody else tell you how you should feel about yourself. And I think that that's what we
Mhm.
are trying to, whether it's the church, your spouse, your best friends, like
Mhm.
your, like this, it's about you. If you like how
Mhm.
you look, if you like how you feel, if you like how that is, that's all that matters. Nudity for all.
Yes.
Woohoo!
No.
Yes.
Whew, absolutely. Mhm.
But that's what we're trying to say is that the biggest lesson for Sean and I that we learned coming out of the church and really deconstructing all of that is we didn't have autonomy in who we were and our choices on our bodies, as in what our
Mhm.
style was, on our piercing, or all of that. We did not have
Mhm.
that autonomy. We didn't get that choice. And so I am all about encouraging you, do it. Just do it. I
Yeah.
support it. I support it like
Mhm.
100%. So, and that doesn't make you a bad person. That doesn't change who
Nope.
you are. It just means it's something you like, and that's okay.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
It's
And I
about
think
it's
that's what didn't get told is we didn't get told that it was okay.
we were we were not our own. We were not our own. Our bodies were not our own.
Yeah.
We're
And I
finally
told
we're
my
finally
kids,
real yeah.
Bonnie said that, talk to hers because she has tattoos. And she's
Mhm,
like, her and her son's like, oh, mom, if I want to, and she's like, when you get 18, I will take you to get your first tattoo. But they will get a matching tattoos, like mother,
aw,
son tattoos. And,
that's awesome.
yeah. And so when I came home with mine, when the girls came home from their trip and they saw my tattoo,
Mhm,
and the next day Nora was talking about it, I said, Nora, she goes, what if I want a tattoo? And I told her, I said, if you want to get a
mhm,
tattoo when you turn 18, I will take you to go get your first tattoo. And I said, you know what? We can get matching tattoos. I said, I will get one with you. Like that was
mhm,
because it's her
yeah,
body. If she doesn't want to get one, she
mhm,
doesn't have to get one. If she wants to get one, I will get one that matches with her. I will take her to go get
yeah,
it. Like it's her choice. It's her choice.
mhm.
And I think that that's the biggest thing I'm trying to teach my kids is that it's her choice. Speaking of nudity, my youngest daughter loves to run around naked. That's her favorite thing. Like, she loves being fucking nude. I don't like.
Is that her self-expression?
Yes, girl
At this age, it is.
loves to be nude. Loves it. And
Where could she possibly
and
get
that's
that from?
exactly what like my spouse looked over me. He goes, "That's yours." Yeah, like he
Mhm.
was like,
I mean, she even looks like you, so it's kinda hard to say no.
I'm like, you right, you right.
Mhm. Yup. Oh, you're gonna have your hands full. You already have your
Right.
hands full.
I do.
Mhm.
So, your body is a temple. Decorate that
Worship
shit.
me. Oh,
Worship me
never
and
mind.
decorate that shit. Decorate that
Yeah.
shit.
Body
Put all the
worship,
shinies.
that's a Deeks with Kings thing. There's an episode for that if that's what you wanna look into. Body worship, different. Mhm.
Decorate your temple. Hang up the
Yep.
shinies. Hang up all
Yeah,
the
all the
shiny
shinies.
trinkets. All the shiny trinkets.
Yes.
Yes.
Put up the
Paint the
stained
walls.
glass. Yeah, paint the walls. Yes,
Paint the walls.
absolutely. Mhm.
And just know that
But do
it's
dust every once in a while though, please.
please dust. Do a
Please dust.
cleaning.
Yeah,
Please clean.
yeah. Need a little rub to dust rub right there. Yeah.
But thank you for joining us this week on Waking Up with Nana and
Mhm.
PepPep. Yay!
You guys are awesome.
You guys are awesome. That's it. That's all I got. Okay.
That's all I got to yeah.
Yeah, I saw Stone Age. I'll get to it.
Yep. All right.
All right. Awesome. So thanks for joining us this Sunday. Go out there, enjoy the rest of the sort of final hours of your
Mhm.
weekend, and we
Express
will
yourself.
catch you on the flip
Mhm.
side.
Yep.
Bye,
Bye everybody.
everyone.